This is a trade review for the Better Stock Entries Nightly Report. Here's a quick run through of trades from the past month. First off, ONXX, this trade with an entry here, ran 18% in the past month. Quick little pop. Could easily trade this. Longer term traders were able to ride this back into the 5-period moving average, digest the gains nicely, and then continued the uptrend, up 18%. Next up, ULTI. Enter over here, profitable over here. For those just hanging on long term, you could have traded this quick pop, but those hanging on were able to hug this 50-period moving average, still in a nice uptrend. It's taking a little time to continue to run. We'll obviously be watching closely if there's any heavy volume break of the 50-period. Next up, CCI. Entry over here, made a quick run the first few days, pulled back, holding support, broke the 21-period moving average, but held the 50-day, and holding about where we got in. Had another quick run here, reversed, big ugly reversal bar, still came back and held support. A third pop, and still holding near the highs. Let's see if this thing can keep running. Next up, AGU. 2 trades here, mostly flat. Had some opportunities off the bat here to make some gains. Nothing too exciting. Next up, BF.A. Let's see. We don't have an arrow here, but we entered on September 19th. Had a nice run here. This trade is up, I believe, looks like around, just around 3%. Was up as much as 4%. This day was a quick pop, but it didn't look like it was more than just a couple thousand shares, so we're not going to count this as potential profit. Next up, Monsanto. Another pretty flat trade, holding support at the 50 period. These commodity names are a little more tricky to trade. They do tend to trend very nicely, but you do have some weird fluctuations here and there. This one is holding support, like we mentioned, but a couple ugly volume days here and here. Holding the 50 period, but something to definitely watch. CTAS, that one did not trigger actually, so would have been up, looks like, if it did. Macy's. After a little quick pop on the first day, found resistance at the 5-period moving average. Pulled back, held support at the 200-day, this green line, and then had a huge rally. Unfortunately, somehow we missed this second entry. This was a great one here. And then a nice pullback after this run up into support, holding the 50 and the 21-period moving average. This is exactly what we like to see. And then a big move up, heading towards new highs with Macy's. NTK. Up close to 11% on this one. Very light volume stock. To be careful of these. But nice trend. Holding support nicely. Just continued to rally. This is one that's way under people's radar. VSI. Vitamin Shop Incorporated. This one's got a nice long-term trend, but it's just not doing much here. Holding support. Lighter volume name. We warned about these when we put them out on the list. Still up, but ran as much as 4%. Waiting for this one to develop a little more. Next up, we got DaVita, DVA. Great trade here. Consolidated for months and months here. Finally found support over here at the 50 period. Bounced a couple times. We had our entry right here on this bar. Quick pop that next day. Could have traded that if you're a day trader. We like to do that, but we also prefer to let these to pick out names that will run and then pull back like this, right into support, and then another leg up, and then back into support, another little leg, and now back into support. We'll see what happens. Getting a little stretch from the 21 period, this blue bar, this blue line, and it's 50 period moving average. So you do have to watch when these things get stretched. Let them digest the gains. But anyways, a nice 11.8% gain. Next up, Lulu. We made a lot of money through the last couple of years on this one. had a nice entry here before the pop. Consolidating, had an entry here, and still mostly flat. We've got a rising 50-day moving average coming up here. We like to see that. We'll add more support. And the 200-day not much further below, about 10%. So worst case, if this thing breaks down, you got about, it shouldn't go down more than about 10%. So we don't like to take trades that have support further than, say, 5-10%. Next up, another flat trade, DCT. Had a huge run up here, pulled back, consolidated, wait for the next run. It's starting to take off a little bit here, but very wide range bars, choppy trading. Not the most ideal. We'll see what happens here. Okay, we've got ALXN. One more trade from, looks like the end of September. Once again, quick pop, quick run into new high territory. Pulled back into support. Now, most of the time, we get a 5% move. We're just looking to take some profits, and we'll move our stop to break even. In this case, since you have a nice long trend, we had an entry back here as well. Nice long trend. Well, this one will, even though it had a heavy volume break below the 21-day moving average, it's holding support at the 50. We could have another leg down. If it does, we'll go ahead and blow out of that one. But this one, we'll see what happens. TROW, T Rowe Price Group. Entry here, quick run, pullback, another quick run. Two great opportunities for trades here. Overall, it's run looks like close to 4 to 5%. Six Flags. This is from October 1st, a little over 2 weeks ago. We're already up 7.7%. Nailed this entry after a gap higher. Consolidated for months, pulled back into support, and then ran. Digested the gains above the 5 period. Tells us that, and the 10 period tells us that there are aggressive buyers. And another pop yesterday. Next up, American Tower. Once again, quick pop day one. We like to put these on the list because we think they're going to have a pop in the next couple days. We also like them because they got a longer term trend. Could have traded the first one and then moved your stop to break even. You could have let it run to consolidate, and then you got the real big pop here. American Tower ran as much as 6% in the last couple weeks. Another nice little trade. Now this is another one we don't usually play in the low price stocks nearly as much, but this one trading below $2. And it's a biopharmaceutical. Got to be careful of these, but we did get a nice quick pop, a pullback into support, and then now we're getting a really big pop. Looks like we're already up around 14%, as much as 14% today. We're up 11% on this one in 2 weeks. Next up, Biogen. Quick little pop, topped out, broke support. We are a little concerned about this one, but it is still basing back into this base. If it breaks these lows, we're definitely out, but it did have a nice little run here back to old highs. Not the kind of action we like, though. But we are up just 1%. Nothing too exciting here. ULTA. It's been a great one over the years. Had a quick pop. Could have blown out of this one right away with a nice profit. Pulled back into support. Ugly bar here. Reversed. And usually you get these bars like this and you get a nice move higher, but this one reversed again. So not liking the action. Just a battle between the bulls and the bears in this stock. We're up a couple percent. Actually, we're still down on this one. We were up a couple percent. Not interested in staying in this one much longer. But we do have this 200-day moving average here to act as some sort of support. Looks like it's just trying to fill this old gap here and maybe consolidate and go higher. We'll sit and watch. Okay, a big cap, VFC. Entered over here. Nice little move. Pull back nicely into support at the 21-day moving average. And now a heavy volume break to the upside. This is what we like. We don't trade the breaks. We don't like to trade the breaks unless it's a day trade. Those breakouts can eat you alive, especially in a trendless market. But what we do is we get in ahead of the move, and then we like definitely to trade the pullbacks, because you could have had another entry here. So far, so good with the VFC. Ran almost as much as 5%, currently up around 4%. And that was a October 4th entry. Joy Global, up 7% on this one, a little bit sloppy, but it was holding support at the 50-day. Going to see a lot of resistance up here around the 67 area. But for now, that's another 5 points higher. We'll see what happens. 7% is not bad in a few days or a couple weeks. AGU, another commodity name. A couple trades that didn't really take off yet. Still consolidating. Trending above this nice upward sloping 50-day moving average. Heavy volume up days. We like to see these. Apple. We had a couple Apple trades. This one here. Ran a quick amount. Pulled back. Could have got stopped out with a 1-to-1 ratio of about 20 points. We had another entry here, and now we're back up. Let's see, 635 area entry. Almost ran another 20 points here for this trade. Don't like to see a quick reversal after only 1 day, but we'll see what happens here with Apple. CBST, October 12th entry. Took a little time to develop, holding that 50-day support, although breaking back below and above it. So it looks like we're up a couple points on this one. Shuffle Master is a name from back in the early 2000s. Quick little pop, reversed, held support at the 50-day. Another little move. Not much going on yet with this name. Has a potential, but we're only up about 1% on this. This was an entry from October 12th. Now we're getting to trades from this week. Taser, another blast from the past. Up 7% in 2 days on Taser. Nice quick pop. Probably will pull back, consolidate, see what happens. But this name ran like crazy back in early 2000s. Open text, this one's flat. I think we're down a little bit on this trade. CVLT, we're up a little bit on this one. Let's see. Yeah, just it was up as much as 4%, up a couple percent now. Looking for it to a nice move up, pull back into support of the 21-day and the 50-day. Looking for that to continue, making a nice base on base pattern. You can see that it's basing above these old highs. This is what we like to see. Potential to really take off here. Next up, PRGO. Quick little pop, reversed day one, held support, heading back to the old highs. Not much, up about 1% on this one. And now we've got trades from October 16th. When we nail the market bottoms, we can get some really nice moves. As we mentioned in our weekend report, the market was down 6 days in a row. We were stretched to the downside short term into support. We started seeing setups. That's when we have the best possible opportunities to get some big moves. We not only have people piling in, but we have shorts covering. This is what's happened this week. MELI, we are already up as much as 6%, currently up 5% on this one in the past 2 sessions. This is another stock that had a nice move in the past, Francesca Holdings. We got a quick little pop, ran about 3%. Going to hit some resistance here at the 50-day, so we will have a battle. But doesn't hurt to take quick profits in these situations. Here's this Apple trade again. Nice little almost 20-point move. And now Netflix. This one's like playing with fire, but we do see setups time to time. Look back here. June. Got in a little early here. Got in right before this run. I think we made 20-some% on that move. Trying it again. Holding support. Nice big move up. Pulled back. Reversed. Held support. Looks like we're up about 5% in 2 days on Netflix. This has been a great trending stock. Unfortunately, we missed most of these moves, but we are in one now with JAH. That one triggered yesterday. Moved as much as 2.5%, and we'll see what happens. Holding support nicely. Actually, this one's holding support at the 21-day moving average, which is even more bullish. The only problem is when you get stretched above these 200-day moving average levels, the 200, the 100, the 150, and the 50. Any sort of news event, any sort of missed numbers on the top or bottom line, you could easily see a gap down to these levels. Usually it's not that bad, but you have to be prepared. That's why we don't trade through earnings unless we've got some really nice solid gains or close by support. 3 more trades before we wrap this up. WPI trade ran 3% out of the gate. Now it's pulling back into support. Don't like to see it pull back into support like this, but, well, we like to see it pull back into support, but we don't like to see a reversal this quick. We need to see it move higher tomorrow. Another great stock, Sherwin-Williams. We've had even entries way back here prior to this. We can't see it on the screen right now, but we had another one here. Able to catch this quick pop. Heading up to new highs, holding support at the 21-day moving average. And last trade, JP Morgan. Another nice quick little pop. And be careful, this is trading close to a breakout. Typically, like we mentioned, especially in choppy markets, trendless markets, markets like that, we will tend to see those moves to the upside get faded by the quants and a lot of the different big computerized programs out there, so be careful. Anyways, that's the wrap up here. Looking good so far. These are the trades that we have opened from the past 30 days. Looks like we've got a bunch more that have run over the past, actually some from the past year or two still. We'll do a wrap up on that here probably in the next few days.